Hi, Kapil. Thanks so much for taking some time to speak with me today.
Yeah, sure.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Ryan.
So, we're really excited because this year and this week actually is bringing us the second season of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and we've been
Yep,
eagerly awaiting it since the season finale last year.
yep. So have I.
Yeah. First and foremost, I wanted to ask you, you played the role of Tobin, and when
Yep.
you first got the script for the show, even before you were cast as Tobin, how exciting was it to learn about the series and how it was uh it's a very unique show, kind of one of the first of its kind. There haven't been that many musical series, especially
Yeah.
ones on this scale that combined all the comedy and the drama and so many musical performances. What did you first think of the show's premise?
So honestly, I've always loved this superpower idea of like knowing what someone's thinking, what's going on in someone's head, and then mixing that with musical theater. I mean, I'm secretly a musical theater nerd, and
Me too.
my first, yeah, my
Not so
first ever
secretly.
show, yeah, yeah, yeah. But my first ever show in high school when I was 15 years old was Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, and I didn't ever think I would like musicals, and I had the best time. Went into like the whole Broadway rabbit hole of knowing all the stuff of from all the shows, and so when I saw this, I was like, "Oh my god, this is there's no way I'd get it. I mean, this is the dream. This is where." And yeah, I mean, and I read it and I was like, I really haven't seen something like this ever. And what was so special about it was that, you know how it takes you a few episodes to sort of get into a show to understand the characters and all that stuff.
Yep.
What was so special about it is because of those heart songs, you got to know these characters so quickly. Um, like what would normally take episodes or even a whole season arc took 42 minutes.
Yep.
Um, and you're already invested. So, and the Peter Gallagher scene where Zoe's looking in that photo frame with them sailing and he stands up. I read it. When I read that on paper, I got chills. So I was like, I cannot wait to see how they're going to do this. And so, yeah, those were some of the things that went through my head when I first read it, and before I was even cast, before when I was just literally just auditioning for it.
That's awesome. And especially after seeing that scene that you mentioned on television with Peter Gallagher singing True Colors, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was literally goosebumps. I remember when we all screened it at Austin's house. Um, right before we knew we were going to get picked up, we were all like in tears and like hugging each other. It was so sweet, and we're like, hey, we I think we made something really special here.
Yeah, for sure. So we're all really excited for season 2, and we hope there's going to be some more of those like really bone-chilling moments there, and I'm sure a lot of heart songs too. So what's
Mm-hmm.
something that fans can expect from season 2, and what does season 2 mean for Tobin? What's going on with him?
So for Tobin, in just right when you pick up in episode one of the second season, um, without Zoe being there, with just Leaf, and really Tobin kind of has remained unchecked, um, and he's gone back into a little bit of his broy self,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's no real sort of voice of reason in his ear, voice of empathy and compassion to be like, hey man, maybe let's tone down the broiness. So there's no one really to like kind of check him. So he's like the misguidedness of Tobin's personality has taken a little bit too much on one side. So it takes Zoe. I mean, Zoe has to rope it all in that first episode, and Tobin learns a lot in very very quickly as soon as she comes back, and we can see how important Zoe's presence is to Tobin, and his honestly his sense of masculinity, his effort in the workplace, how he treats other people. How he treats other people at work. So that's what's going on in that first episode with Zoe coming back. But he obviously is still very Tobin, likes to give Zoe a little bit of a hard time, and so fans can expect to see that too, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really interesting how you were talking about Tobin's like broy vibe and the bromance that he has with Leaf, because Leaf kind of has, some kind of I don't want to give it away for anyone that hasn't seen the show, but he's got some moments where you kind of question like, is there some toxic masculinity going on right here and things like that.
Yeah.
So how did you and Michael Thomas Grant, who plays Leaf, how did you guys create that safe bromance and one that is slowly becoming less, with less toxic masculinity in it? And one, I don't really think that friendship is built solely on toxic masculinity. It's just based on the
Yeah.
circumstances that Zoe is in and everything. But how
Right.
did you guys create that bromance? Because Leaf and Tobin have a history.
Yes, they do. I think what's really interesting for me to explore is that oftentimes, at least from my perspective as Tobin in that relationship, that he's more in love with the idea of being a bro than he probably actually is a bro. Like a bro-y guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things about Tobin in terms of he likes to play video games. He's secretly sensitive. He's a little bit like he really, really cares if like the guys come out and hang, or it's like if he's spending time with Leaf. I mean, that's and doesn't like to admit that necessarily. And I think that so that's why like I'm really excited is for everyone to get to see where that comes from.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know this is veering a little bit off topic of your question, but that's what fans can sort of expect to see in sort of the course of this season. To get a little more of a depth into Tobin's layers of like who he presents himself as and why he presents himself that way and where that comes from. What's the backstory behind that? Yeah.
I'm super excited to see more of Tobin's backstory and see why he acts the way that he acts, and also to see the scenes between him and the whole team, and especially scenes between him and Leaf, because they have that foundation and they have that friendship there. And even last season, we kind of saw it kind of tilt the scales a little bit, especially when Tobin was upset with Leaf for bailing on him during their spelliversary, right, as Tobin calls it. So are we going to see some more tension between them, or is their bromance pretty solid this season?
Yes. I don't want to give too much away, but it might be as soon as episode 2.
Ooh.
It might be as soon as episode 2, possibly episode 3. Leave it at the tease. Let's just say that it might be sooner than you might think.
Oh, yay.
So anyway, but yeah, that's what I can say.
That's awesome. So last season, when Tobin had his heart song during that episode where him and Leaf kind of had a falling out, his heart song was "Don't Speak" by No Doubt, which is such like an iconic song, and everyone knows that. It's one of the greatest '90s jams that there is.
I was like thrilled when I saw that I was singing that. I read the episode and I was like, "What? Gwen Stefani? No Doubt? No way!" So I was really, really happy about that. Yeah, it was a great one. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, but that's one of my favorite moments of season 1 is Tobin singing that song. So I was wondering, I'm assuming that Tobin has some other really fun musical moments coming up in season 2?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you'll get to see more Tobin singing for sure. A little bit more. I mean, obviously, in the first episode back, there's moments in Hello Dolly that Tobin sings welcoming Zoe back, but in a more meaningful way in a few episodes later, and definitely a little bit on later in the season, you'll see more of Tobin singing.
That's awesome. So one of the things that we love about the series with all of its musical moments and everything, or how the songs differ from. There's some heart songs that are just very personal, and then there are these large musical numbers with the whole team and with Zoe's whole workspace that happens. So I was curious, with all the stuff that's happened this year and with COVID precautions and everything like that, how has production changed, and are we still going to be seeing those large scale musical numbers?
Um, yes. So the the short answer is yes. We did not um, cut corners in terms of not doing the large musical dance numbers. A part of me thought we were only going to do individual stuff because of our restrictions, but we have taken a tremendous amount of precautions to make sure that we safely um, dance and we safely practice and rehearse when we do have larger numbers. Um, so yes, you will be seeing some large numbers in this season. I don't know tally for tally if it's going to be the same amount as last year, obviously because of COVID, but you will definitely see some large musical numbers this year for sure.
That's awesome. So the coding team is definitely still going to be doing their songs and their dances.
That is correct. You will see some. You might see some really fun numbers from the coding.
That's awesome. So for scenes like that are those big musical numbers with so much of the cast in them, how different is it to film those scenes? Is it very time consuming? I know there's music and recording and choreography and things like that. So what do
Yeah.
those typical days look like? Are they long hours?
With which what in particular?
With the bigger musical numbers that have like a full dance team with them.
Yeah, so those there's a specific process to it. Those that are singing individual lines, those numbers have to go through the process of rehearsing with Charlie Alterman and Dylan Haverin, who are in our music and sound department, and then we're going to the booth and record with Harvey Mason Jr. with Austin on the line as well to make sure those solo moments are correct and in the right sort of tone. And then the dance aspect of it, we mask up and we dance with Mandy Moore, and we're tested several times a week, so we know that we're in our own bubble. So the people that are there have been tested negative, and we are taking all the precautions such as masks and sanitization stations and all that kind of stuff. So even if there are a larger amount of people, we're still making sure that when we can, we're maintaining the 6 feet and making sure that everyone is safe.
That's great. So we're all super excited to hear that everyone's safe and we still get to see those big scale musical numbers that we all love from season 1, seeing that continue into season 2. So I want to know personally, what would you say is on your own personal extraordinary playlist? What's on Kapil's extraordinary playlist, if you could create one for yourself?
My own extraordinary playlist. So as in like songs that I really enjoy listening to?
Yeah, maybe like 1 or 2 songs that you would say are either your heart songs, or that you, if there was a playlist that was specifically combined or had to do with all the songs that make up who you are as a person, what would a couple of those songs be?
Let's see, a couple of the songs. Let me just pull up on my Spotify right now. So one of the songs I actually love is Vanessa Carlton's "1,000 Miles."
Classic.
Because I sang it with my sister since I was a kid. It was one of those like I'm on the piano and she's singing, and it's, or like I'd be singing and she's on the piano. It was like it's something that just reminds me of like, hey, I'm finally gonna go home to see my family. So that's why, and family's so important to me. So that's definitely a song that's been important to me.
Oh, I love that. That's another like "Don't Speak" by No Doubt. That's another like really nice throwbacks from 90s, early 2000s type era.
Correct, and another one for sure is Billy Joel, but let me see exactly what Billy Joel song. I mean, I listen to a lot of Billy Joel, but if there's one, oh, for sure it's Vienna by Billy Joel.
That's my favorite Billy Joel song. I love that one.
Is it? Oh
it's
my
so
God.
Good.
It's it wasn't even like a single, and I really, really enjoy that song because it's like, it was, when I first heard it, I was like, is he talking to me?
Yeah.
So it was just so special, and it just reminds me that, like, of all the things that are going on in this world, that, like, to sort of take my time with things and to make sure that like I'm slowing down, seeing all the things around me, and I really love the piano intro in it at the beginning, and I really, really enjoy that song.
That's an awesome pick.
Those are probably the two.
That's awesome. I love it. It definitely sounds like an extraordinary playlist to me, for sure.
Yeah, it's great. Really.
Awesome. So one last question that I had for you was, if you could share one specific skill with someone who's looking to pursue an acting or a musical career, what would it be and why?
Someone who's pursuing an acting or music career, what's like a tip I would give?
Yeah, like a skill that you think they should know when pursuing a career like that.
Skill that I would say that that regardless of what age you are, to never stop being a student. That the best performers I've seen, whether it's musicians or whether it's actors, the ones that I've seen that are consistently performing at the top of their game, never stop learning, never stop taking classes, never stop, going to their mentors, never stop learning new things in comedy and drama, if you're in acting, or if you're learning a specific style, or you're learning how to be better in voiceover, or whatever that is. Never to stop learning. And if you're in music, obviously there's working on your voice even more. There's so many different styles, and trying to expand your range and finding your tone in a different setting, like a musical theater tone versus like a hip hop tone versus a ballad, and whatever that might be. To never stop learning and to constantly try to improve yourself all the time, whether it's through classes or otherwise.
I love it. I think that's a great thing to tell people that want to get into this industry and everything.
Yeah.
So those are all the questions that I have about this season. If there's anything else that you'd like our readers to know about what they can expect from season 2, or we'll definitely tell them all to tune in. I can't believe the show's already premiering its second season tomorrow. It seems like we've kind of been waiting for what feels like such a long time with this year, but it's finally here, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else I'd like to add, but I'm just super excited to see how it all turns out. I'm really excited for everyone to see the growth of Tobin and to see more of his backstory. And I'm just, I'm just grateful that I get to do this and that everyone gets to see our work. All the people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into making it happen this year.
For sure. Well, we'll be tuning in for sure, and we can't wait to see what's ahead. And I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. And
thanks, of course, Ryan. Yeah, my pleasure.